with Coach Leipold. Again, we have mics on both sides. If you have any questions, go ahead, raise your hand.
Well, good morning. Thanks everybody for coming out. So just open it up, let you fire away.
Lance, with the new contract, just what was the process like of getting it done, and exactly like over how long a period of time did that take place?
The process was easier than I think it gets played out. First of all, I think I want to thank Travis, Chance Gerard, everybody that's been so supportive. You know, there's certain things I'll never completely always be shared through that process, but honestly, you know, Colin Sexton, Deputy Athletic Director, you know, told my representation way ahead that they wanted to be out ahead of this. Again, and you know, as I told Travis in our discussions, I don't expect a new contract just because we win some football games. I don't believe I had a contract. I was very happy with that contract, and that's why I'm so appreciative of them wanting to do it. But with that, also there's other people that get involved in this as well. I can confidently say that probably, you know, Travis, 95+% of this was secured probably in December. That's why you see things backdated, because everything was pretty much agreed. There's different times and that, yeah, there's conversations, but we're focused on a lot of other things. And it wasn't a timing thing that felt like it was a big rush, because we're on the right page of where we want to be. I've always said we want to be here. I know it's not always the group you want to say it to, but don't believe everything you read. Okay, sorry guys, it's not all factual. So I guess there was. So I don't know if I'm answering it enough for you, but yeah, there's a lot there that was taken care of, and conversations were always healthy, and that's what we've talked about many times is that alignment. And there were some smaller pieces that were continually been worked out. We've been ready for this for a while, and we settled on yesterday, and today is the days we would let it be released.
The total staff pool is just short of 9 million total. How much does that help you in an off season like this when there is some staff turnover, and just generally, why is that a point of emphasis for you during some of these negotiations?
Well, first of all, it's an outstanding commitment by our administration, our university, people here in the room that make that happen. And it shows that this department, university, are serious about our football program. But I think also hand in hand, I think we've been able to see what it's been able to do for our campus, our community, and different things as we move forward. And again, retaining staff, maintaining that's a huge component. And I want to make sure I say this, because the three coaches that left are good friends, you know, people I respect that are very good coaches. Disappointed that they left because they're not here every day, and then the change of what that does. You know, sometimes in the unsettling times before our players get a chance to see who they're going to be coached by. But I know this, and I want to make sure that this is on the record, is that Travis Goff and our administration stepped up. And everybody made decisions for their own personal reasons and careers, and I have to respect that. I mean, Andy, in his case, sent it to me a year ago when things started. He goes, "We've been together, Lance, 10 years. I mean, shoot, that's almost 3 times as most marriages, right? And we spend more time together, unfortunately, than sometimes we do with our spouses. And to be together that long, and he had said for him to continue that maybe looking and working under a different head coach and opportunity would help him. So I have to respect that. You know, Jordan Peterson's going back to his alma mater. There's and then Scott has always told me, even before he came to Buffalo, way back when he worked, to work in the NFL was a dream of his. So all those things I have to respect. But back to what I was going to say, Travis and our administration, myself, we put together packages that were equal or better than what they took. And that says a lot about what we're doing. And I'm not going to get into specifics of what those were. Okay, so that again tells what the individuals want, where they want to take their careers, but it also, more importantly, talks to the fact about where we are in committing to retain staff, and there wasn't a blink from Travis of what we have to do. And before anything else came, I don't know if I'm talking too much, Travis, but you know, Travis has to go to lunch last July, before right when the players were reporting back, about a day or so before. And part of our conversation was, you know, don't hesitate to have conversations when we have to retain people. And we'll look at it. Doesn't mean it's always gonna work out the way you want it, okay? But we will do what we can to retain people. And that's so refreshing, because you don't always get that. And to see what we're trying to do here, again, makes this place special.
Lance, factual or otherwise, your guys can read too, your players. I wonder, do they ever come up to you and talk about this stuff, good or bad? I mean, like, you know, yesterday was a pretty good day. Do they come and say, hey, congrats, we're happy for you, that kind of stuff? Do you get that feedback from your guys?
Yeah. In today's day and age, we're all getting in the same tax bracket almost, right? I don't know, I should have said that. One player texted me that, and that's kind of what I said.
Oh, wow.
So it was a joke. Again, if you have to know my sarcasm. But yeah, yeah, they do. And again, I think I speak generally in these things, and that's where it's hard, because when we're dealing in today's everything that's going on, and you know, people look at it as everybody's trying to make things better from there. And during some conversations, I can say is, there's things that get taken care of in salary for yourself and your family and others, but there are also parts of our conversations I have with Travis. I said it's not about money. If it was about money, I wouldn't be sitting here. Okay, I'll say that. If it was strictly about how much money Kelly and I can make, and we would not be here. I don't know if we'd been here last year. So that never is, but when some of those things were being talked about, I could say this is that if I was going to talk to our team and have about not making everything all our decisions based on money and transactional things, I would be a hypocrite, and I would have troubles with that. And so I thought that was very important, and hopefully it still will be. But yeah, it's hard, because sometimes you can't, not everything can happen for everyone. Same thing, you know, we mentioned, you know, there's salary pools or pools for each group within our program. That doesn't mean everybody always immediately sees that. So there's a lot of different things, but that's part of it, and that's part of what this responsibility as a head coach is make those decisions and have those conversations.
Sort of along those same lines, when your name's thrown out there in these reports, do you hear from your players then? Do they ask you, hey, what's going on, coach? Or have you had that be part of this last couple of years?
Sometimes, not a ton,
Yeah.
because they understand, and I think we'll tell them. But again, I've said this before, and before I was fortunate enough to coach at this level of Division I football, anywhere else between, you know, again, it seems to be in a small cycle, there's certain names are thrown in for every job. you know, and then you're either thrown in for those jobs that you're leaving, or you're on the group that's gonna get fired. And right now, I'd rather be on the one that leaves the, you know, the other one, right? So, the thing is that people are missing, and I think hopefully we continue to be able, when I say we, because it's gonna take everybody. What I hope we're doing is, you know, everybody thinks this is a stop along the way and not a destination when you're the head football coach at Kansas. You know, and when I said before, we're gonna make this an and school, a basketball and a football school, not a or, that this becomes a destination for football coaches as well.
Coach, well, you had 3 assistants that you really enjoyed and respected and wish they had stayed. Your OC's, the new one's been here the longest, and while you have the structure of your offense and defense, has it been a good thing to get a different perspective and the way that things have been done in other places and been successful?
Dave, that's a great question, because you know, we can spin things the way we want, right, in any direction usually. And the one thing that this program needed for so long was continuity. Okay, we had it. But in the same, you know, realm of things, bringing in new people forces us all to learn and grow. It's forced me to look at different things as a head coach. And it's part of the challenges that I've talked about our team, that it challenged me this offseason as a head coach, is you can be confident in a lot of ways, but can't be complacent. Well, you know, having to interview and find fits and doing those things is really kind of stretched in a lot of different ways to make sure that maybe I don't get complacent and from this chair, and to be challenging, and that's what really it was in some of the hires, is because I could have easily made, and you can look at it and maybe say I did, but I could elaborate if you do ask the question about, especially our latest hire, is that just because I know somebody or where it's at, there's a fit, but there's also a fit with new coaches and other things that became extremely important. You bring in a Jeff Grimes, and it's been really fun to this last few weeks, especially through the hiring of the offensive line position, is to watch him. He's in command of what he wants, but he's not controlling. And it was really neat for me to sit in on, we Zoomed for over 8 hours on a Saturday with candidates. We interviewed people on the Friday. We Zoomed again most of the day on that following Monday until we came up with the decision to hire Daryl. And that's been it, because I've watched him, and it's a little bit different operating style. And that's when Jeff was there, and you know, he had the opportunity to observe in December. He didn't try to, you know, put his stamp on anything. And now as we've kind of transitioned after coming off the road, that's been nice to see. DK McDonald was so impressive in his interview, and he's been more impressive since he's been here. Working with our players in the short period of time that we've been able to do it for a couple days. DK was one that his experience in the Big 12 at Iowa State was something that was important, checking him where he had, but he's also, you know, he worked for Matt Campbell a long time. He's not a guy, you know, and I said it, you know, it's just personal preference here, but you know, you start looking at a lot of guys in this, when everybody inquires, and I can add this really quickly, is a lot more people and a lot different type of resume started hitting up my phone when these openings came than they did in 2021. And, but, you know, a lot of guys, you know, they're barely places 2 years, and those aren't the right fits. And DK been at Toledo and then moved to Iowa State. Been at Iowa State for a while, and the opportunity to go to the next level and want to get back into college football. And that was great to see too.
Lance, were DK and Daryl 2 guys who you had in the back of your mind if there were any openings, or were those names that popped up again when those jobs became available?
No, they didn't. You know, DK was a name, you know, probably we built lists for all, you know, these last 2 jobs, probably 40 to 50 names, and then we kind of narrowed it down. But once it came into play, it was one who was highly intrigued, yeah. Daryl will always be somebody that I would have in mind, but our whole offensive staff said on them, because I wasn't gonna, I wanted Jeff to be comfortable with this. But the great thing is Jeff's coached offensive line for over 25 years, so I know he knew what he was looking for, but he also respected knowing what I was, got a better feel as we went along about what I was looking for and fit. And you know, it was unanimous that Daryl Leipold was going to be the best fit for this job.
Hey, Coach, I know Travis mentioned earlier that this contract talks about the top 20 program. It's indicative of that. And I know last year you talked about the program wants to go from D to A really quickly. I forgot which game, whatever that was. What do you think about that perspective, where you just continue to build this program from, you know, now going into this year?
I was out there before, and I happened to ask some questions that, you know, maybe some of you had asked Travis during his portion. Somebody asked about the playoffs. I think that's an A to like Z type question when you haven't played the other 12 yet. So again, we have to, and I'll say it over and over again, the margin of error is so small in this conference. And you can look at our losses and you could say, yeah, maybe, but there were some games that also went our way when we made some plays. And if we don't stay locked into that and daily as we go about it, the things that helped us get to this point, we'll all be disappointed. And you know, that's ultimately my biggest responsibility.
Lance, in the last, I'd say 2 to 3 months, NIL's been talked about more nationwide. Have you seen the impact of it? And just talk about how important it is right now.
It's extremely important, and I think we have a better grasp of it. You know, there's a little more reality in areas than we might have imagined 18 months ago, of what's happening across the country. I think we're hopefully trending towards getting something kind of set up better for more guardrails and how we do it. But it's extremely important for us to have a solid NIL program that's going to be consistent, that can compete really with anyone in the country, because that's where it's going to be. To, you know, you can look at it to get players, whether it be out of high school or through the portal, but more importantly, in a program like ours, is retention. Because I still think, you know, programs like ours are going to be best when we have players that are in this program for multiple years, and we can develop the culture and can maintain the culture that we expect. And player retention, just like anywhere else, is going to be important, especially when others are out there trying to purchase their services, so to speak.
And then you look at some of these top 25 lists, Kansas is in there, it's kind of uncharted territory. What do you tell the guys as spring gets here about staying grounded, staying focused?
You know, we haven't had a ton of meetings that I'm in front of the team right now. I think that's something that, you know, a year ago we had been starting this week. We're gonna start spring, as you know, start spring after spring break. And I think I'll try to elaborate a little more on that. I think Matt Giverson does a great job, you know, through some of our culture talks and through our daily stuff in the weight room. Because I do believe that, you know, we look at all these things and our players is, you know, we gotta stay hungry. And staying hungry is gonna wanna be out there each and every day. And sometimes when you hear the same stuff or see the same things over and over, it'll eventually fall on deaf ears. So we're gonna make sure we talk about that as we get closer to it, but it is gonna be important. It to me is a balancing act that they should be proud of that. You know, we've come a long way in a very short period of time. And the guys that have been here have earned that, and to downplay that, I don't think is right either. But understanding what got you there and what you have to do to maintain it, and that's the part of sustaining programs. I remember, you know, I probably said this here, and Bill Self has said it to me multiple times. You know, building is really the fun part. Maintaining is really hard. especially when you have the guys that have played, okay, they have confidence and experience, but then you add the new guys that don't know all the work that it takes, and you have to make sure that they're putting in all that early work as well. And that's kind of what's gonna be important here this spring, and make sure that we emphasize that.
I know in the recruiting process, you talk a lot of high school kids transfers about the staff continuity you've had in the past. During an off-season, when you do lose staff members for reasons you explained, like what are those conversations like with the current players, with the recruits, during that kind of time of transition?
Well, you try to move as quickly as you can, but effectively and efficient to find the right fit, okay? And as from, I'm trying to remember, I think Scott resigned, interviewed on Wednesday, was resigned on Thursday. I think we had Daryl in the next Thursday. It wasn't officially, he was in on campus, so, you know, for many of us, the unknown is the biggest challenge, right? We don't know what's gonna happen next, so a lot of times trying to fill these voids is very important. So to try to get them with that person that we're gonna do a good job, I think, I get the sense that they trust us in that matter. And I think Matt does a great job of explaining that, hey, we're gonna have a lot of good interest, coach is gonna find the right fit, we're gonna go find those things. You know, you look at DK McDonald, okay, we have 2 outstanding corners, we have some really good young corners, okay, well, they wanna play at the next level, okay? Well, if you brought in a guy who coached in the Super Bowl the year before, I think that's a pretty, and been in the playoffs, I think that's, you know, so when he's talking about what he sees and what it takes and what are some of the things, it's pretty factual. So once the Kobe and Melo saw that, I think they've embraced it. Now there'll be a little different coaching style, and the guys have kind of said it. And but again, there are going to be things that they can take from it and grow and get better. So it's exciting.
And you mentioned starting spring practice after spring break. Latest you guys have started it. What went into that decision for you guys?
Well, part of it, honestly, is again, I think, you know, we've gone nonstop now for a while. You know, between the bowl game and then you come back, you put him in the weight room, then you're right back out there. I thought the first 2 years for retention and keeping going, especially because of our late arrival the first year, I thought it was extremely important to do so. This time we have so many players coming back, and I really thought, you know, getting as close to 8 weeks in the weight room before would be important. As I said before, trying to keep it fresh, and get them excited about getting back out there. And then, of course, lastly, you know, weather-wise, you know, the weight room's in the indoor now. We're eating in the indoor. You know, it's definitely a multi-purpose facility at the moment. So give ourselves the best chance to go outside with the best weather that we can.
Time for 2 more.
A little bit granular here, but you guys had pretty established recruiting territories for quite a while with all your assistants. Just what's the process been like of trying to redefine how you're gonna get to different areas of the country?
Meeting with the new coaches, is that what you mean? Or
Yeah.
You know, we ask guys where they've recruited before and that, and you know, we try to make some small tweaks when we need to. You know, everything's speeding up so much that it turns into positional recruiting sooner than ever before, I feel. So I think that'll help that way. I felt this way when I went to Buffalo, and I still feel this way now. If you hire good people that are genuine, authentic, professional, they're honest with the people and they talk to them, they follow up with the high school coaches, essentially doing it the right way. You can walk into a school the first time around, and if you make an appointment, you show up on time, you just don't drop in, you know, all those different things that you hear stories of. If you do it what I would consider the right way, you'll build a relationship with the staff early, the head coach, whoever his representative is, and you do it the right way. You become an East Coast recruiter, a West Coast recruiter, a Southern, you can overcome those. And I look at a guy like Chris Simpson on our staff, you know, he's done that every time I've asked him, and Rob, I know, the signs areas, when we ask Chris to go into a new area, it doesn't take long for him to start, you know, reaping benefits from it, and because I think he does it the right and our other guys too.
With so many sweeping changes over college athletics seemingly coming every other month at this point with NIL, transfer portal, or anything else like that, what is your approach to adapting to those changes, rolling with those changes? And in the future, if you are asked to give input on what you think could work,
They don't really ask my input too much, but I don't know, there's so many, we don't have enough time, but it's easy when you sometimes have ideas and when it's on the one subject. Okay, we talk transfer portal and how many times it should be or how long it should be. But then when you try to have to go with an academic calendar, let alone the high school calendar, let alone now we put in a playoff, and we're trying to make all these different things work and flow, and it's really getting hard. And then you had, you talk to NIL and all those things. When you're trying to put these in the right lanes to make it all fit completely the way we used to do it or like it or something, it's not easy. But we do have to keep changing some of these things. There's many of these good things, NIL are great for players and families, and it's life-changing, and hopefully we'll see great benefits all the way down the line. But somewhere also there's gonna be some stories where it doesn't work out very well. And I hope we can find these right resolutions to our academic calendar, yearly calendar, recruiting portal, all that, and make this work. But we do need to keep tweaking.
All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.